Hello and welcome to my Week 7 media presentation for MPA 560 on qualitative research. The name of my program is Homeboy Industries, and it does anti-gang recidivism by offering job training skills, school and parenting education, case management services, tattoo removal services, and other resources and services. So, an aspect that I would want to measure using a qualitative design would be to identify the culture of gangs. So, the study would focus more on the characteristics, the attitudes, and the behaviors of gang members in order to identify a little bit more of what it's like to be a gang member in order to provide more perspective. One qualitative design that might work would be to utilize ethnography because there can be a level of observation that can be done. I do think that it would be difficult, but to some level it can be done. So it may not be done in the actual setting, so out in the streets, observing them, but it can be done in schools, prisons, and through interviewing family and teachers, which are potential direct contacts for gang members, and it could provide more insight. The second design that could be used is a case study design. So it can help identify a group or a person, and they can be analyzed as a group or individual in order to find causality. So now on to data collection. So I would collect data by interviewing past gang members and also utilize previous studies that have identified what gang culture is, because I'm pretty sure that gang members that are currently in gangs would not be open to letting anyone shadow or observe, and it would be something that is dangerous. So interviews with former gang members and possibly teachers who've taught or even teach students from schools in an area that has high gang activity are a good source, because they do spend time with possible gang members, because even though they may be minors, if an area has high gang activity, then some gangs they do get kids at a young age to join. So even observing a school with high gang activity paints a good picture of the initial stages of when gangs target a younger demographic. And like I previously mentioned, even observing prisons could give a good insight of the cliques that happen, or even observing gang members in a different setting. So, one validity concern would be measuring the accuracy of instruments, because it may form a bias. So, I've heard whether a bias is considered good or bad, it is still bad, because a bias sways the results and effects, providing a true picture or true results of how things really are. In this case, construct validity is a concern because there has to be an appropriate scale to identify and define who is a gang member or who are gang members. In the real world, as we know, an individual would not just come up to you and say, "Yeah, hey, I'm a gang member." No, they would not self-identify like that. And the researcher cannot just identify or point out, "Hey, yeah, that's got to be a gang member because of the tattoos, or because of this or that, or because of the way they look." So that is a bias or an assumption. And as we know, criminal behavior does not always indicate whether a person is a gang member or not. So we've come to the end of my media presentation for this week, and thank you for listening.